conquer where we belong. Predators Golf Club, our pride and our might. United we rise with all of our lights.
Right, hello everyone, welcome to Predator Golf Channel. This is John. Just in my back garden here. I was really trying to find the backdrop to try and do this for what's in the bag and everything for you. Somebody, I don't know why they asked, but they decided to ask me what's in my bag and everything. And I'm obviously not one of these professionals and everything like that, so I was wondering why it was asked and everything. But obviously the subscriber obviously feels that they want to know, so I'll give you that information. Just before we start, every club, all clubs are different to different people, okay? Just because these clubs suit me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to suit you. I mean, I'm sort of what I would say a high-low handicapper, so I'm a decent golfer, but I wouldn't say I'm one of the best or whatever. And obviously that equipment's going to suit me different to someone who's a higher handicapper or someone who's a scratch golfer. Obviously somebody who's a scratch golfer is going to use equipment that I'm not going to use. I'm trying to get, I'm a field player, but I'm also wanting to get forgiveness and response. So yeah, we'll go through what's in my bag. I've had to drag it out the car and everything. I've put in all the clubs and everything. Now it may get a little bit complicated for you who are higher handicappers, you 30 plus handicappers, and some of it might not even register, because I'm very much a person who is not into this custom fitting stuff. I'm not into certain club suits, certain individuals. I'm into experimentation, okay? So I'll experiment with different clubs. Obviously, you know my idol's Phil, he's the same. He experiments with all sorts of different clubs, and he's got about 28 clubs at his disposal that he uses at any given time. I haven't got that many, but I have experimented quite a bit with my clubs. I have mixed and changed up my clubs. I've tried to find out what works for me, basically, but that doesn't necessarily mean, the same as the balls that I use, I'll go through the balls that I use, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to suit you, okay? So I must stress this, same as my, the subscriber wanted me to explain about my playing distances with different irons and all this kind of stuff. Again, different irons work for different people, different lofts work for different people, different irons. Nowadays, a lot of people go for the lower lofted irons. So now, my 7 iron, for example, could be somebody's 8 iron, or not, could be somebody's 8 iron. So bear that in mind as well. I think we'll start at the top with the driver and work our way down. There's quite a lot to go through here, and there's quite a lot to explain actually. So I'll start off with the driver now. For the higher handicappers, this is where it might lose you a little bit, because obviously I'm like Phil and all these people, that I'm quite a deep thinker as to how I can improve equipment wise, experimenting myself rather than going to someone who will just say, right, that's the club you want, that's a custom fit for you. I don't like that idea. I like the idea of mixing and changing, buying and selling clubs, and finding the right one that works for me, basically, different shafts and all that kind of stuff. And after a while, I tried all sorts of different things. My original drivers were always Callaway. I had a Callaway GBB. What did I have before that? The X-Hot 2. And they were always solid drivers for me. Sort of the mid-handicapper range, obviously forgiveness, and always had that nice sound to them. And I always felt, especially with the weight system to the back, that always the one that suited me, because I can put it on a slight draw to help with my fade bias and everything. There was a time I experimented with TaylorMade. I got an M5. That wasn't very successful. I obviously heard of people off TaylorMade saying TaylorMade are great. I got the M5, and at the finish I was experimenting so much with the shafts and everything, and weights of the shaft and different grips, and at the finish it was getting ridiculous. After 6 months the face cracked. Luckily I was able to get a refund on it, saying that, you know, it was a manufacturer fault and everything, which the M5 had, and I went straight back to Callaway, and I've had this driver ever since. It's a It's a Callaway Epic Max, so basically it's the version up from the GBB. Now I've looked at the other ones, the brand new ones, the AI Smokes and the Paragrams or whatever you call them, and I don't see much differences in technology. I've never been fooled for one that technology can advance much further than it is. Obviously you've got the tailor-made stealth and everything now, which with the carbon backed face, I was never a great believer of that, and it turns out actually over about 6 months, that can wear away as well. But this is the driver I've got now, the Epic Max. Now I've got a bit of a problem with this. It always happens, it slides up and down, but it doesn't affect the performance. Basically it's a weighted system, same as the GBB, so you can adjust the back. So obviously I have it for a very slight draw bias so I have a very slight cut with my drives. It also helps me to promote my draw a little bit more. That's unnatural to me. The shaft's always been the same. I like this Diama red. I've always stuck with that one. I have went for a different plane shaft. Now I've got two different shafts for two different conditions. Now this one, I forgot the exact plane length. I think it's 44.25. It's half an inch longer than my last one I had. The reason being is to get a little bit more distance, and I've got the shorter shaft for more control. I'll show you the other shaft. Did I put it in my bag that I've got? I'm not sure if I did put it in my bag. I do have another shaft somewhere, and it's slightly shorter, which is for more control. Oh, here it is, for more control. So this is more for more tree line, tighter fairways where accuracy is really important. This is more for your longer courses where distance is a big factor. I mean, we're only talking about sort of, it's not a big difference, about 7 or 8 yards difference, but there is a difference, and that's the complexity to going into it. Basically, I don't want to go any further than that, other than the longer shaft helps me hit the ball just a little bit further. This one's actually as well a lower kick point, so this is more for links golf. So if I want a lower ball flight, I want to keep the ball lower, again, this is going at the complexities. A mid point gives you a mid sort of ball flight. This is a lower kick point, so it's going to give you a lower penetrating ball flight. That's more for your links golf. But no, the Epic Max has been really good. I don't really want to go into any more detail other than that. It's a good solid driver. I know others are big believers of this driver. I know others are big believers of the Ping driver as well. But that's basically my driver. Been a good solid driver. It's been a good servant over the years, and I'm going to keep hold of this. I don't think there's any need for me to change my driver. Like I said, the AI Smoke and everything, the glamour up and everything, but it's exactly the same sort of process with the weighted system, the jailbreak technology, speed face and everything, and I don't really see me any benefits paying 400 quid for a brand new driver. I've never really got that. So that's the driver anyway. Really good solid driver. And also the Ping drivers, the G430s Max and everything. For you higher handicappers, I would suggest the Max. I would suggest for my sort of level Max, I wouldn't go for these low spinny drivers. I did try the Epic Max low spin. I did get one second hand, and that was rubbish, and I had to sell that. The low spin is more for your professionals who have got swing speeds over 115 mile an hour. Well, we don't have that sort of swing speed at our sort of level, so it was absolutely a pointless exercise in getting that. Right, what should I go into now? I'll go into the woods. Now, I have got, this is again a pretty complex thing. I've got a 3 wood and a 5 wood, but what's happened over time is that I've realised 14 degree with a 3 wood, 14.5 degree is too low for me unless I'm playing links golf, in which case I've got a mini driver, in which case I should have shown you that first. I'll go on to the mini driver. Have I got the mini driver here? Is this it? Is this the mini driver? Yeah, this is the mini driver. So this is more for links golf again. It's a 12 degree driver, mini driver. Quite hard to get, so I'm keeping hold of this one. Driver shaft, mini driver. You can adjust it up to 2 degrees. So I have it 14 degrees. Again, this acts like a 3 wood for me. I don't really like 3 woods. This acts as a 3 wood for me. So I very rarely use it, but if I was to go to a long links course, this is what I would call on as sort of my utility club, like a 3 wood. And again, I've used it very few times. I got it second hand and everything, but it's basically like a driver, just it's smaller. So yeah, I've got the Big Bertha mini driver, 1.5 it's called, mini 1.5. Really good club. Just unfortunately the local courses aren't that long enough to use it regularly. If I was going to like a really posh club like Carnoustie and I was going right off the back tees, this is probably what I would use more regular. Now this is interesting. I've got a 3 wood and a 5 wood. Now I got a 3 wood and I didn't really like how long the shaft was. I didn't feel I was getting the control with it. I've also got a 5 wood, same thing. It's the Big Bertha 2014. Now I was using the 5 wood more like a 6 wood. I was putting it up to about 19 degrees. I was messing about with it, and at the finish I worked it out. Well, the most effective club for me, especially somewhere like Wilton where you need height but you also need a penetrating flight, is you need a shorter shaft for the control, but you also need a 3 wood head on it. So what I did, believe it or not, because it's the same system, it's the same Callaway locking system, I put the 3 wood onto the 5 wood shaft, the 3 wood head onto the 5 wood shaft, and the 5 wood onto the 3 wood shaft, and I worked out that actually the 3 wood, there's more weight here and it's a more penetrating ball flight. So this is actually like a 4 wood. This is now like a 4 wood, only I'm getting the control because the shaft's a lot shorter. So I would use this. Again, Wilton, you don't really need it, but if I was going to a long course, if I was going somewhere like Hunley or I don't know, somewhere way up like Slaley or Rockcliffe or something like that, this is the sort of club I would call on. You've seen me use it before. You've seen how well I hit it and everything, but it's got a more pingy face. It's more of a solid feel to it rather than the 5 wood, which is a little bit softer, the 5 wood head. So yeah, and again, this is from 2014. This is a good 11-year-old now, so you're saying the technology is irrelevant and everything, but it works really well because it's simple, it's very effective. I've used other 5 woods before, demo days with the pings and everything, and they just don't work for me. This is very simple, it's consistent, it hits the ball straight and long. And really, again, it's like Phil. I mean, he's got a wedge from about I think it's is it the late 90s. He had the old ping wedge from the late 90s, so it's a similar sort of thing. I'm really happy. 2014, and to be fair, I don't think I could hit another 3 wood better than this, to be honest. It really works for me, the Big Bertha. So that's that. Obviously, all these clubs, by the way, I can't have all up my bag at the same time. I've got about, I don't know, about 20 of them. So I can't, I have to mix and match, obviously, on what course I'm playing. After that, we've got the, this is the one that Phil uses himself, the utility wood, the Apex. It's not that one. It's not that one. Which one is it? I don't even know if I've packed it. Oh, here it is. This is it. This is the utility wood. Now, this is the one Phil uses, the Apex utility wood. It's exactly the same, 19 degree. What this is a mix of a wood and a hybrid together. Now, I'll use this when I have to go on more hilly courses where I want the ball to go higher, a higher ball flight, but I also need the distance. I would use these in situations where maybe at a course like Crook, or let's have another, like Horton Spring or something like that. If I was playing off the back tees, Horton would play very long with the wind off the back tees. This is the sort of thing I would use. Now, Phil had the idea of putting a wood and a hybrid together. So you've got the forgiveness of a hybrid, but also the distance of a wood, and this is what we came up with, and they designed it and everything. And it's a really, really good club. It does go further than my 3 hybrid. It goes 10 to 15 yards further, and it's a really good club. And I've used this quite a lot of times for long courses, with hilly courses. It's not quite as consistent as a hybrid, but it does the job if you need that extra 10, 15 yards. And I would recommend, actually, that this, probably a 20 handicapper could get away with this. It has got feel to it, and it's a really, really nice club. I mean, I've had a lot of success with this, and once you've learned how to hit it straight, it is a good club. It's a very good club. It gives you that penetrating flight, but also it also gives you that that height that you need to get on plateau greens and everything like that. So that's the utility wood. Hybrids. Again, this is getting complex, but the one I use the most. Oh, there's my head cover gone for me. It's probably I probably just dropped it out in the outside and where I've parked my car, the garage. So this is the one I rely on the most, the Rogue 3 hybrid. I've got it in 19 degree. I've also got one in 23 degrees to replace my 4 iron. If I want a bit more of a higher ball flight. Again, this is going into the complex stuff, but most of the time now I'm using my 4 wood. I was going to sell my 23 degree, but I thought, no, just in case I need it for ones, again, for hilly courses. But yeah, my 3 hybrid, I rely a lot on this. It's a very, very solid club, and honestly, anybody who's looking for hybrids, I wouldn't look any further than the Rogue. It's a fantastic hybrid for field players and for people who want forgiveness at the same time. I mean, I can do anything I want really with this. I've never had an issue with it. By the way, all my grips are mid grips, and all my shafts are stiff, by the way, apart from obviously my wedge and my putter. But yeah, the Rogues from, it's the original Rogue. It's not the Rogue ST or anything like that, or the Rogue Max. This is the original Rogue that came out, I think, 2018. Fantastic club. Callaway produce, to me, the best drivers and the best hybrids, and some great irons. Honestly, they really are. Wedges, maybe not so, but for field players and forgiveness, Callaway and Ping are up there with the very best, honestly. And I've stuck with Callaway ever since I changed irons, really. I had the, what do you call them, the steelhead irons. Excuse me. And then obviously I went to the Rogues. So yeah, that's the 3 hybrid. I haven't really done the plane distances, have I? Obviously, you know, with my driver, how far that goes. It can go in the summer, 260, 270 if I really hit it. The utility club's about 225. The wood's about the same. My 3 hybrid, I would say about 205 yards, that sort of range in summer conditions. Obviously winter, you're going to take off about 10 yards because of the softer conditions. Where am I on to? That's it so far. But yeah, that doesn't, obviously the hybrid doesn't go as far as the utility wood. The utility wood will go about 220, I would say. The 3 wood, the 3 wood head with the 5 would go up to about 230 if I really hit it. That's about 200, 205 in summer conditions. And this is just a variant. This is the yeah, that's the 23. And I've got, no, sorry, this is the 23, and that's the 17, I think. Is that the, yeah, so I've got 23 and 17, and that's basically the 17 again. That's for Linksy Golf, the hybrid for Linksy Golf. So there's quite a few options I've got at my disposal, and the thing is, I know exactly, with every single one of these clubs, I know the purpose of them as well. So that's another thing. Through experimentation, I know exactly what they're for and everything. Irons. I couldn't get a 4 wood Rogue, so I've gone for one that's very similar. Again, all of my clubs, the cavity backs all the way up to a pitching wedge. I don't believe in the forged stuff unless you're a scratch golfer and you can hit it right out the middle like these professionals. Even the professionals now are using cavity backs, believe it or not. Some of them anyway. And the X Hot, again, this is from, this has got to be at least 10-year-old, but it's a great solid 4-iron with a slight draw bias. It's from the Big Bertha series. It's actually an update of the Big Bertha. Do you remember the original Big Bertha irons from 1998, I think? It's just an updated version of that, basically. Really good solid iron, again, stiff shaft, grip, again, everything mid-size. I could hit this probably, if you want the exact yardages, I went to the Trapman or whatever, 186 with this. It's a really good solid club, and yeah, I can hit it about 186 if I really pushed it, 190 if I really went for it. But it's a good solid club, and again, I would even put this in on my 23 degree in. Most of the time now I go for the 4-iron because it gives you that penetrating flight, especially when I go to Links Golf or Hunley or Wilton, where it's extremely windy at times. This gives me a good strong penetrating flight, 20 degree loft. I use slightly less, the modern ones now, so some of your 4-irons are about 18 degrees. This is 20 degrees, so mine's more sort of the average sort of loft. Sometimes you get your lower lofted clubs, so sometimes your 7-irons can be 28 degrees. Mine's 30.5, is that right? Something like that. Yeah, my 8-iron's 34 degrees. Some people's are 31 degrees. These new clubs and everything. So I like to just keep it. I'm not a big believer in that, because all you're doing is stopping the ball from checking on the green. So my 7-iron can go 150. I've seen other blokes take a 7-iron and hit them 175, same swing speed and everything, but all they've done is lowered the lofts on the irons. When they say the irons are the longest they've ever been, don't fall for that. All they're doing is lowering the loft. So your 7-iron is actually like a 6-iron. That's all they're doing, really. I wouldn't fall for it. And obviously, with being a field player and everything, distance is not a big deal for me. I can get the distance, but it's obviously for the beginners who like to feel they're hitting the ball longer with their irons. And then after that, 5 to pitch and wedge. It's simple. It's just the Rogues. Where is me 7? There's me. I'll just do them. And again, you know what I'm going to say. Mid-size grips, stiff shaft, cavity backs. 2018, very forgiving, nice big head, nice feel to them as well. They're nice and pingy. You get response from them, which is good from a cavity back. The old cavity backs used to be a bit sort of, when you hit them, they felt a bit like, they're a bit sort of hard and I'm not getting any response. You get a response. So if you hit a good shot with this, you know how to, you know you've hit a good shot. The other thing with cavity backs is I feel as if with these, I can shot shape a lot better with them. I've tried forged before. I've tested forged before, and I'm not precise enough to hit it out the face in the middle every time. I know that. You obviously know that. And this is giving me the ability to shot shape more efficiently. I've got more face and I've got more ability to shot shape and everything. So probably, if you really want to know the playing distances, my 5-iron is 170, 175, 6-iron 165, 7-iron 155. This is all based on summer conditions. Obviously, there's different factors with wind and everything. 8-iron goes 142, 143 if you want precise yardages. My 9-iron goes about 132, 133. Pitch and wedge is 122, 123. And that's basically my yardages. I mean, some people hit the pitch and wedges, same swing speed, 140, but again, their pitch and wedges. Mine's a 44. Some people have a 41 degree pitch and wedge. So if you're, for example, there's the Rogue ST. Now, if this was a Rogue ST I was holding in my hand now, this 7-iron, it wouldn't be, what's mine, 31.5 degrees. It would be 28 degree loft. Now that's a 3.5 degree difference. It's a club difference. So really, my 7-iron is equivalent of an 8-iron in the Rogue ST. That's what I mean. All the companies are doing is making the lofts higher, and sorry, the loft's lower, to make you hit the ball longer, to make you feel as if you're hitting the ball longer. Look how hard I'm hitting my 7 iron. I don't fall for that. These irons are great, and unless I see otherwise, I'm never going to change from the Rogue. These are very hard to get, by the way, the Rogues now, especially left-handed, because they're such a forgiving club, but also they give me the ability to shot shape, to attack the pins, to manipulate the ball flight, and I've never had better irons, and these really are what I need for my game anyway. So that's the irons. Wedges, okay, a little bit complicated here. In the summer I use a 50, 54, 58. In the winter I'll use 48, 54, 58. Okay, now the 48, I couldn't get a CBX2. Now this is the old Cleveland RTX 588 black. Now it's a really good wedge. Again, it's a hybrid, so it's the Rotex 2.0. Again, it's an oldish wedge compared to the modern ones, but it does the job perfectly. It's a hybrid, just like the CPX, the CBX. The CPX are just really an update of this, basically, and it offers me the forgiveness, and it offers me not just the forgiveness, but the precision of a normal forged wedge. So again, this gives me the ability, what I want to do, to manipulate the flight, to shot shape and everything. And another thing is the bounce of the club. Now a lot of people look at the professionals like Tiger uses about a 4-degree bounce on his wedge. I wouldn't look into too much like that. For us guys, for us mid-handicappers to high handicappers, we're looking at probably anywhere between a 10 to 12 degree bounce. Phil's the same. Phil has a 10 to 12 degree bounce on all his wedges, because the sole of the club is helping us to, especially in soft conditions, get through the turf better. You might be able to get away with 4 to 6 degree on links turf, but no way in the world Parkland in the winter you're going to get away with a 4 to 6 degree bounce club. The knife of the club will just dig into the turf, and the ball will just go 2 foot ahead of you. So yeah, if you get a wedge, it doesn't matter what wedge it is. I would always go for a hybrid, you call them. It's a cavity back and a forged together. I would always go for one of them. Cleveland are really good. Titleist, I think, do them, but Titleist are more for, I would say, your lower handicappers. I used to have Titleist wedges, and I thought they were good until I moved to Cleveland, and I realised Cleveland is much more better for higher handicappers who aren't as consistent. For people like Lee who are low handicappers, low figure, but on the high end, I should say, and it works really, really well. This CBX, the 58. Well, these are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that's 10 degree bounce, as I was saying. That's 10 degree bounce. My 54 is 12 degree bounce. So anywhere between 10 and 12 degree bounce is what you want. It's really for the sole of the club to get underneath the turf better, the better turf interactions. And yeah, these are great wedges. I haven't got my 50 degree in because obviously it's winter now, and I'm not using that. So yeah. Another thing that you will have seen, so anyway, sorry, I'm getting confused again. You're wanting the yardages. The subscribers want the yardage. I keep on forgetting. Just remember, my yardages aren't going to be whatever your yardages are. Yardages are unique to different people, but my 48 will go about, if I really went full out, 105. The 54, anywhere, I mean, I use this for anywhere from 60 to 85 yards really. And the 58, well, you know, I use it anywhere from 70 yards all the way down to my little chips around the green. So 70 yards would probably be my max. I don't, with wedges, by the way, and this is a big tip for everyone out there. If it goes right to the top of the end, say you're playing, say you hit your 54 degrees, 80 yards, okay? If the playing distance is 80 yards, do not go full out with a 54 degree wedge, okay? Wedges aren't designed like irons. They're designed totally different. These are designed for precision. They're not designed for distance. So you don't swing 100% with a wedge, okay? It's always 80, 90% to get that control. You can even just punch them through. Sometimes I use my 48 even for 50, 60 yard shots in linksy conditions. Do not feel as if you're playing yardage as 80, right, I'm going to go 100% with a wedge, because it won't work. Trust me, they're not designed for distance, they're designed for precision wedges. Okay, that's just a little tip. If any of you high handicappers are struggling, just try and do little punchy shots, sort of control shots, 80% shot. Do not go full out with wedges. I've tried that game. I don't want to bring Rick Shields up, but he tries that game and it doesn't work for him, so don't you try it. It's no good. Where am I at here in this? Oh yes, the Chipmaster, right. Well, the head cover's dropped off. It's obviously in there somewhere. But the Chipmaster, now, with winter golf and everything, we're coming into winter conditions where it's wet, it's damp, it's just not nice, you know, it's not nice. We don't really want to be playing winter golf where we have bare lies and everything, but it is what it is. We get dealt with these situations and we have to deal with it. And this is the way out of it. A lot of people used to use these for who aren't great chippers. Now, obviously my chipping game's okay and everything, so nobody can say it's because I'm a bad chipper. But I got sick. I was playing these parkland courses in the winter and I was getting sick of the bare lies. There's a way to get out of it. Obviously I use the 48 degree, the toe down chip, or you get yourself one of these. Basically, it's a putter with loft. Basically, that's what it is. It's basically a putter with loft with grooves on it. It's just for around the greens. If you get yourself in a bare lie, it's so consistent. I think I've done a video on this before. It gets you out of bare lies. You just use it, and you can use it like a wedge. You can open the stance, you can open the grip, make it go higher. You can close the stance, close the face, makes it go lower. You can do all sorts of different things with this, and I've holed it out before with this many a time, and this has saved me loads of pars in winter golf. When you're round the greens, you get the bare lies, or it's sticky, it's horrible clay soil, it's wet, it's damp, and you can't use a wedge, you can't drive into the turf. It'll end up just going 2 foot ahead of you, or you skittle it along the deck. It works really, really well, this. I got this second hand, about 65 quid. It's the best 65 quid I've ever spent for winter, because when I go to Parkland Golf, links I get away with, but with Parkland Golf, like Wilton, this has been a great tool. And for higher handicappers in the winter, I would strongly suggest you get one of these. Obviously, it replaces one of your clubs. I normally replace a wood or something like that, because the courses are shorter. Therefore, I can get away without having a wood, and I would generally use this. And basically all we've got left now is the putters. Now I've got 2 putters that I use regular. I've still got my Odyssey 2 ball, to be honest, but I've never used that in donkeys. Now this is the one I rely on. I call it the Lion Tamer for obvious reasons. And it's the Stroke Lab putter. It's the Stroke Lab 9. I don't know what the white hot micro hinge means. It must just be the face insert. It's a nice soft face. It's the toe heel hang blade putter, 34 inches, which for my height, because I've got quite long arms, is perfect for me. Super stroke grip. I always have the 2.0, a little bit thicker grip. Otherwise, it can torque. I've obviously talked about that in one of my videos previously. And it's a really good putter. All the weight to the toe, so it naturally helps square the club face up rather than pushing the putt. It helps naturally close the club face. Obviously, a big ambassadors, Gary Player and Phil Mickelson, they were really good with these putters. And I agree, having the weight instead of central, having a lot of weight to the toe, and it really helps square the face and everything. And this is the one I rely on the most. And I'm really consistent with this putter. I really love this putter, and I think I'll keep this for a while and everything. The other one was for winter, actually, and it's more of a sentimental thing to us that I use as well. It's the Odyssey P82 prototype. Obviously, it's what Phil used to win the Masters. It's his Tiger Slayer, basically. It's the black version, and this is what I'm going to probably use more in the winter. It's a harder insert. So it comes off the face just a little bit harder for more roll. It gives it a truer roll for winter. Again, same length, 34 degrees, same grip, although it's a different colour. It's still 2.0. The shaft was a little bit smaller, so I've had to we've had to manufacture it ourselves. We can carry and put more tape in it so it's not wobbling about and everything, but it does the trick, and it's of sentimental value as well, so I'll keep hold of this for the rest of my life. This is the original toe heel putter, and it's even heavier than the Stroke Lab one for the weight on the heel. Like I say, harder insert, truer roll, and it's the white hot insert, so it's a little bit of a harder insert, but yeah, this means a lot to us. I finally got one left-handed. They're very hard to get, Odyssey, and it's a real sentimental thing because there's only so many produced, but I'm still trying to get used to this in winter conditions, but it's you know, it's the Tiger Slayer, so I really want to, you know, get used to it and use it and everything. And in terms of clubs, that's basically it. But as I say, each club for each individual is unique and different. Just because I've got Callaway Rogues doesn't mean it's going to suit you, although it's a good solid club. You might want forged, you might want lower lofted irons to give you the more distance and everything. Obviously, you know, I have my rangefinder, my Miley, whatever you call it, rangefinder, the basic equipment, umbrellas and everything. So really, I don't want to go on anything else apart from, I'll go on to see if I can get some of the balls out. Now, my competition preferred ball, there's one there actually, that's perfect, is these TaylorMade tour response balls. Now if I'm playing in the summer, this would be my preferred ball. They're quite expensive now actually, they're about 35 quid a dozen, but they are really, really good balls. I prefer these to, I've tried all sorts of different balls, to be honest. You got the TP5s, you've got the TP5Xs, they're even more expensive than this, but these balls at our level don't, you know, they fade all over the place, they draw all over the place, they spin everywhere. When I've got a ball, I just want a ball that'll go, if I hit it well, goes nice and straight, it's got a good feel to it, nice soft feel, so it'll bounce and stop on the greens. I don't want it to backspin, I just want it to check up. And it's a really good ball. The response, it's called tour response because you do get a lot of response out of this ball. And I want response, I want feel out of a ball, and this is I think for my sort of level, the best ball on the market, it really is. I also use Kirkland's just for general rounds. I'll use Kirkland. The Z Stars are all right, Strixon Z Stars. And if I had to, I'd use a Pro V1. But with Pro V1s, I've got a horrible feeling they chick up and spin. A lot of people don't like the Kirkland balls. They've said they're really hard and it doesn't suit the game. But you know, I think they're okay. They're quite a decent ball. They check up. They're quite responsive. They've got a good feel, a nice pingy sound to them. And you know, if I had to, I would use one of them in a competition. I wouldn't be too fussed, but my preference would be this. And another thing I would say is I use a lot of these companies now who use the refurbished balls, not lake balls, but obviously the ones that I've picked up on the course, and that they clean them up and everything. So much more cheaper if you're just having a general round and everything. Obviously, if I was playing in a competition in the summer, I would want a new ball and everything, but I generally just use them, to be honest. You've seen me mess about with Kirkland's and the Strixons and all that kind of stuff. I just mess about with them balls. Titleist, True Feel. Actually, Titleist, True Feel are better than the Pro V1s at our level, I think. Not the True Feel, True Soft. There's Tour Soft and True Feel. Don't go for the True Feels if you want a responsive ball. They're not really good. But and that is basically it. Obviously, I have my watch when I play. I've got the rangefinder, and that's it. Glove wise, I prefer a leather glove to an artificial glove. Obviously, in the winter I'll wear artificial, but that really is it. That's all the equipment, and that's my bag. That's my bag, and I don't think I'll really change for a long time, to be honest, because I'm really satisfied with my clubs. I'm really happy where I'm at with my clubs, and unless something magically occurs where technology really changes, because like I say, even with the drivers, the AI smoke and the Paragram, I don't see any difference. I really don't see any difference apart from the just updated models. And obviously the carbon backed faces, there's been funny reports for those carbon backed faces, and it gets to the point of wears out that the driver actually becomes illegal. So that's it. That's what's in the bag. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I don't know why you'd want me to say what's in my bag and everything, but that's the equipment that I use. And just some general advice for your higher handicappers: I'd always go for cavity back. That's one thing with your irons. Don't go for forged. Drivers, if they do a max version, always go for max. But if you're just starting out in the game, or even like me, I'd always recommend you don't buy a brand new driver or anything like that. Buy a second-hand one to start off with, see if you can work with it. If you can't work with it, you can always sell it and replace it with another one. I've seen so many people spend 600 quid on a driver and then they end up not liking it, and then they're stuck with it really. They can't experiment, they can't change, or they get custom fit and they can't change. Whereas me, I buy the second-hand clubs and I switch and change over until I find something that works, and once it works, that's it. I'll never I'll just stick with it. I'll just stick with it. And if I get a club that I know works, that I can shot shape and can manipulate the flight, and I get good feel and response, that's what I'm looking out of a club. I'm not looking to do anything else other than be able to do what I want to do with it, get the right sort of distance with it. I'm happy, and I'll stick with it. I know what I like, and that's it. But I'll always experiment. I've always been an experimenter. I've never been one, like I say, for custom built and everything, but I just know my entire bag that I've got here works for me, and that's what you've got to do. That's what you've got to do, especially when you play an attacking style of play. You've got to try and get forgiveness, but you've also got to get clubs that are going to do the work for you, and you need clubs that have got feel as well. That's what I really look for: forgiveness and feel together. And I think I've got it with the Rogues. I think I've got it with the Epic Max, and I think I've got it with my Wedges. I think I've just about got this will be my bag for a good while. So yeah, that's John, Predator Golf Channel. That's what's in my bag. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and as I say, more videos hopefully to come. Like I say, Texas, the Scramble series might be starting soon. Hopefully, if I can get Gary and a few guys on, and we'll just take it from there. So thanks very much. Thanks for watching. This is John. See you later. Bye for now. Bye.